What's going on, my friend? And welcome to the Messenger Podcast with your host, Sam Cologne. And today, my friend, we have a very good topic, and that is the story you tell yourself is the life that you're creating. Therefore, change your story, change your life. Right? And so we're going to dive right deep into the deep waters right away. We're going to start with, what is it that you're telling yourself, right? What does your life look like today, right now? It's a reflection of what it is that you believe is your story, right? And so I'll give you a quick backstory real quick. And this is the same. I am not exempt from this. I just want to put that out there. I still work through this shit myself, right? And so, but I do have somebody on my team, right? And in the last couple years, he's really up his commitment, right? And as he's done that, he's been making some really good money, right? And so as his income has increased, I've also seen him transform. However, the remnants of his old behaviors, the old story that he tells himself is still there. Therefore, bringing him back down. So every time he's climbing that ladder, something happens where, boom, it brings him back down, right? So I don't want to get too much into his story, but just understand that he was making not very good money, working multiple jobs, dived into real estate, now is making really good money, multiple $20, $30, $50,000 deals. And we had like a quick talk yesterday, and he's like, oh man, like things are stacking up right now, and like I know we got some deals in the pipeline, but blah blah. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because I'm not counting your money, but X amount of dollars was made just in the beginning of the year. X amount of dollars made just at the end of the year. But here you are in a cycle where it's like, dude, like, I think I'm gonna need a fucking loan. And it's like, wait a minute, are you sure? And so as you start to break it down, it starts to realize that, wow, like this is 10 times more than what I was making 2 years ago. But here I am finding myself in the same pattern and results from 2 years ago. Finding myself worried, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to pay this? Finding myself like, oh my gosh, these bills are stacking up. What's happening here? It's not the money. It's not the lack of money. It's not. It's the story that you believe is your story, right? And if you are stuck in that constant loop of like, I have to work hard to get this money and then pay the bill, and that's what you're going to keep on doing. And guess what? Just because you make it more money, it's not going to change that. You're just going to create it in a bigger and a bigger magnitude. So instead of struggling making 50 grand a year, you're going to be struggling making 150 grand a year. And you can even make more, 500 grand, a million. I've been through it. I'm not saying it just because. I'm saying it because I've been through it. You know, the first year I made 500,000 and I'm like, where the hell the 500,000? And I'm not talking about profit for the company. I'm talking about profit for me. And I couldn't figure out where the hell the money went. I'm like, dude, I made $526,000 this year, and I don't know where it's at. Now, granted, yes, I had a house, we had the car, whatever, family, but it did not make sense to me that prior years I've made, 100 grand, and we still made it work. Made 200, we still made it work. Here I am made my first 500 grand, and yeah, we made it work, but it was still the same pattern. Like right against getting right against that line. Oh my God, it's like I have to, okay, boom, got it. And every now and then, as I was explaining to him, it happens to me too. Every time there's a heighten of, let's just say, I'll give you an example. There was a deal where in that one deal, I could have made 500,000 net profit. 500,000 net profit. Typically on our renovations, we make anywhere from like 80 to like 300K, depending on the deal where it's at. So in this case, 500K was going to be it was like 585 to be exact, 585K of net profit. So it was going to be a bigger spread. And I know that I sabotaged that shit. Everything was laid out for me. But the fact that I myself could not embody and know that this is my story. Yes, when I do renovations, I make 500 plus on my flips. No, that wasn't my story. My story was I make anywhere from 85 to 250K a flip. Right? So that being my story, when this new opportunity came, even though like if I can tell you everything was laid out for me, I still fudged it up. Still fudged it up. It did not become a deal. We didn't close on it and we didn't get the deal done. But that was because of the lack of the story. That lack in my story, right? That this is who I be and this is up to how much I make per deal. And so recognizing this, I'll give you another example. How about football players and baseball players and basketball players that they grew up in poverty, they worked their ass off to become a pro, and there's even boxers that do the same thing. They work their ass off to become a pro, they make a crap load of money, and the moment they retire, a few years later, they're broke. Why is that? Because they still have a story. They're telling themselves a story. They believe that their story that they've been told and what they took upon themselves as they were growing up, they made that their identity. And therefore, yes, I could work hard and get this, but the rest of the story is still jacked up. Because you haven't override that. You haven't made the decision like, okay, I realize that my reality is based upon my story, what I tell myself, as within, so without. So if I'm not taking the time to actually reconcile these thoughts and behaviors and create your own story, the story that you need and you desire to create the future, the present future that you want, then it's going to happen. You're going to go in these crazy ass loops. And I just want to say that there is growth in that. There is growth. It's not that it's not growth, because you get to see everything from different perspectives if you're paying attention. But if you're not paying attention, you're not putting that focus and have that awareness, that you're going to go through those loops over and over and over and over and over again. And then you get upset and then you get discouraged. It's like, damn, why did this always happen to me? Oh, guess what? Now you just reiterated the story that you tell yourself and the story that you believe that you are, right? Why this always happens to me. The only a person that believes that this always happens to them is going to say why this always happens to me. Right? So if you're saying these things, recognize what it is that you're telling yourself. Let me give you another story. A few years ago, I said probably like anywhere from like 5 to 8 years. Right now, I don't have the precise date, but anywhere between 5 to 8 years. I was in a men's group, right? And in this men's group, we would meet once a month. And there was like I don't know what you want to call, like some type of secret society men group type of thing. So most of the people in the group were very successful, right? But everybody had their own story. This one night, we were out in the campfire, right? And there was this one gentleman that he's doing well for himself. He created something. I can't remember the exact thing he created, but doing well for himself. The business is, starting to pick up. And very innovative invention that he did that I'm like, whoa, you're going to make some serious cash once this blows up. However, his own story was stopping him from meeting that pinnacle of his success. So we're in a circle and he's sharing his story. And he's saying like, wow, I can't believe, like, because he's becoming aware. I can't believe that I tell myself things that I would never tell someone else. I can't believe that I have this negative self-talk of what it is that I'm telling myself. And I would never even have a thought of somebody else through those set of lens, but I'm doing it to myself. And so like he's really letting it out, man. I mean, I'm talking about he's put it all out. He starts crying and he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like I have these things that I'm running through, like the poverty and the things that I went through, and I'm trying to work through it and this and that. Now this is a men's group where everybody gets to share. And after he finished, another gentleman came up and he's sharing his story. And again, everybody in this group has their level of success. So it wasn't like this gentleman did not have success in his life. He did. And I would dare to say a lot of success, and on the pinnacle, on the edge of having some serious success. Financially, when I mean business and financially, because success is not just business and finance, but just business and financially success. And the next gentleman that comes up, he goes, I feel for you, bro. But as you are here sharing this with me, I've never felt that before. I don't even know what it is to think that way. My mind was like, so you're telling me, I had to jump in right away. I'm like, so you're telling me that you, because I've had the thoughts. So I had to jump in. Like, so you're telling me, bro, that you've never, ever, ever thought like, he's like, never. The thought of me thinking like that makes me cringe. Like, what? Like, why would I think like that? And it's just like, it blew my mind because to me, I'm like, everybody thinks like that. No, everybody does not think like that. Why? Because we all don't have the same story. We all don't have the same background. Right? In this case, this gentleman had a very wealthy background. And he was successful. He's also a real estate investor. He multiple book author and all this stuff. Very successful gentleman, but he never had that mindset. Now, he made it clear, yes, there are things that I feel limitations towards when I'm working on something new, but not in the level that he just explained. Like, I don't feel that. I don't feel that burden like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to fail this. I don't have that. And it opened up my eyes to now with a different sense of awareness so that now I could start looking at things differently. So I'm like, okay, so if he's not thinking that way, but he is, I know sometimes I've had, and I've other people in this group that also think that way, then what's going on here? And as I start navigating, because that's the way I am, I'm very curious, and I start asking all these questions, very inquisitive, and I'm asking myself all these questions, and I came up to the conclusion that it's about the story. Because I know when I change my stories in different aspects of my life, I see the fruits of it. And so there's ways for you to do this. There's ways for you to be able to, what some people call reframe. I like to call it consolidate. Consolidate means see the other part. You're going to bring that other part in and make it whole. We consolidate. We're not just stuck on the old storyline. No, we're going to look at that storyline from a different perspective, and then we're going to consolidate. And when that links in and connects, and you can make the connections that is beneficial to you, now that becomes rocket fuel instead of the anchor that's holding you back. Now, before I get into details, AB, you got something that you wanna throw on this?
So it's interesting because I am just in a space of reframing or consolidating my story. When I got married, I recognized that my wife didn't grow up like I grew up. My wife don't know what it feels like to borrow sugar from a neighbor or hand me down clothes from my girl cousin because they had nice clothes. So, living with roaches, the whole shit. And it used to be like a badge of honor to be like, ain't nobody been more poor than me type. Even though I know that's not true. I have friends going like in grade school, elementary school, middle school, high school that were like legit poor. I had the best of both worlds. Like my grandparents were upwardly mobile. They worked for the city of Newark. My grandmother was a teacher. My grandfather worked for the mayor. So they had money. When we would go to my grandparents' house, this is nice kind of living, right? New clothes, new toys, McDonald's, White Castle, whatever, right? But I didn't realize until, like I said, when I got married that my story had been so ingrained that you know how I don't want to say you know how because it always sounds generalized. I've noticed how people see me, how people like, man, you like, yo, you could do anything, and I'm like, I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm nothing special, right? Watching my wife's face when I tell her some of these stories of like poverty, she's like, damn, like I didn't realize, knowing you in high school, I didn't realize like the depth of what you mean by poverty. Like, I'm a sophomore in high school. My mom just started working at New Jersey Transit. She had been there for like maybe 2 years. I was still going to school with the EBT card, hooking my friends up and shit. Like, I never felt shame. This is, everybody be poor. Like, y'all kind of poor like this, right? Oh, nah, y'all ain't poor like that. I'm the only one poor like this.
I've been there.
Oh, shit, right? You know, you don't have money for, we never had ankle cut socks. You just took your long sock.
You folded
pulled it
those
down,
suckers. Yeah. You fold them
pulled it
down.
to the bottom of the joints, right? So, it wasn't until like really getting with my wife that I really started to examine my story. Like, damn, so my story, it's chapters in the book. It's not the book. It's not we're going to write the story about this poor guy and how he ended up poor. We're going to write this story about this guy who was in this situation, and out of this situation was birthed all of these other great things, right? You hear it all the time. Like, you look at Venus and Serena Williams, right? They grew up in Compton. I don't know how poor they were, but Compton is always synonymous with poor, especially in the 80s, 70s, right? But examining my story let me start to see some of the places that I was limiting myself based off of, who the fuck am I? I am nobody special. I ain't doing nothing that nobody else can't do. Nah, it's all good. Don't worry. I know I did this thing, but it's no big deal. And it's like, well, why do you feel like you have to minimize yourself? Based off of what? Because your circumstance was your circumstance? What's your circumstance now? Like you said, I've made more money. I'm making more money right now than I've ever made at any point in my life. And I'm just starting to recognize the feeling of the one day. Like that one day when I'm like in my new car and got the crib, and it sneak up on you so fast when the story, I do it on my pod. I'll speak for myself. It snuck up on me so fast that I didn't recognize that the story had already changed.
Oof.
The story already changed. I had this vision when I was a kid that one day I would grow up and I would be the one to get my family out of poverty because, I want to be the one. My mom's retired, so I can't buy my mom the house, her first house. She already got a Cadillac, so I can't buy my mom her favorite car, the Cadillac. Going on trips and doing all of this, the story changed right under my nose. So it's like, in examining the story, it's like, yo, nah, every bit of what I have, I worked for. Nobody gave me nothing. Nobody stood did the studying or was taking the classes or going through the shit to get out of the shit. Like, it was me. So if I can't do nothing else but recognize that, one, the story did change, and it didn't change because of I hit the lottery. The story changed because at some point I started looking at it like, I'm not poor. I never was poor. We may not have had a lot of money, but we had a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? And that love that my mom poured into me and my brothers, I'm able to pour into the world. I'm able to pour into my kids. I'm able to pour into my wife. I'm able to pour into myself. Not from a place of like, I don't have it, but from a place of like, I have so much of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do know what you mean.
I didn't start to recognize that until, I'll say, 30. So it was a 15-year journey of recognizing like, nah, why? Like, why do you say this to yourself? Why are you... We'd be out with the homies, right? This is me, I'm a young dad. I'm out with the homies. And I always felt like I was less than out of the group because I grew up the way I grew up. I'm a poor kid in the midst of these non-poor kids. So, of course I ain't gonna get no women. Of course I'm not gonna get the good look. Of course it's not gonna happen. Not like I felt bad about it. It just, I didn't expect it. It wasn't even something on the radar to be like, you deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's interesting how embedded the story is and not being open enough and aware enough to recognize like it. I think I'd be still chasing what I was chasing before, doing a lot of unintegral shit, not like selling my ass or
Yeah.
that's crazy. I ain't no
hitman or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
But doing things with a hustler's mentality to try to get this thing that you think that you want, that you realize that I don't really want. Like, what the fuck is really going on here?
100%.
It only happens when you take the time to think about it, though.
Yeah.
And when you take the time to think about it and recognize it, then start to like do the work.
Yeah.
You said something that I'm like, that's perfect reframing. So you were explaining about the poverty, right? About, having to fold the socks, right? I know, trust me. We had one lint sock. Those are the long ones. Those long ones were for winter and for summer, right? In the summertime, you roll those suckers up, right?
No, we take our shoes off in the house. Oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good. Oh my, so embarrassing. You take them out. It's like, yo, what the?
Fact.
But having that type of the hand-me-downs from the cousins, like I get it, dude. Same here. And so, however, the reframe that you did, like, we were poor, so to speak, materially, but we weren't poor with love.
Yeah.
Like, the love was there.
100%.
Like, and the attention was there.
100%.
Like, I think off camera we were discussing how your mom had you like in jazz and in this, in music class and and all these different things, right? Activities. I didn't have that. Like, my parents didn't do that. Like, I went out and I made up shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go do a pickup game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to get is like the reframe, right? When you reframe, like that piece right there changes the story.
Yeah.
The fact, like, we didn't have the material shit, but we had a shitload of love in the house. The camaraderie amongst the family, we all play instrument. Like, it was it. Like, the thought of like being broke wasn't even a problem.
Yeah.
Because the love was there. Right? So, however, in the background, those lack of this and lack of that, a lack of that, as you start to accumulate this information, you get to the point where now you're an adult.
Yeah.
And you're in that state of lack.
Yeah.
You're in that state of like, I'm less than everybody here.
Yeah.
Because the accumulation of not having growing up. Like, I know I'm a dope dude. I know that I'm loving. I know, but materialistically, I'm unworthy. Because I didn't have it. And it's not like we use these words.
Yeah.
Like, we don't use these words.
Nah.
Like, we don't be like, I'm unworthy. Like, because a lot of people think like when you talk about worth, that's the way it goes. Like, no, it doesn't go like that. It's just the story you're telling yourself is reflecting the unworthiness.
Like, you feel like you don't belong.
And then you start to compare. Yeah. The fact that you're thinking to yourself like, this person is better than me because of that. Or this person, the reason why he's better than me because he got this. And the reason why that does not, if you look at it, does not coincide with like, I'm not worthy. But that is the patterns that comes up when you have a lack of self-worth. 100%. Because of your upbringing, because of the story that you've been telling yourself. Yeah. Now, there's plenty of people that have been in tough upbringings that they don't have that either.
Yeah.
So again, I'm very studious and curious, right?
Yeah.
So there's people that have had tough upbringings that they don't have the lack mentality. That there's something about that individual that they always thought, like, I'm good. It doesn't matter if they're in the hood, they're good.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even though they go into the spot, I don't know if you know about the spot in the city, like where you have like
Canal Street?
Canal Street. You go in the buildings and they have everything like in bags and stuff.
Back.
Yeah. You go in the buildings and you got all the buttons got stars on them and stuff like that. It's supposed to be branded, but it's not.
Yeah.
But But these people will have this type of clothes. Like me, I will get them, but I'll feel shame.
Yeah.
But there were people in the neighborhood, they will have it, and they'll floss the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's knockoff.
You know that I know it's knockoff, so that's why I ain't showing my button. You know. But you, on the other hand, you like, look at this button. Yeah, like without a care in the world, right?
Facts.
And then I look at, just running these thoughts through my head of like comparing and learning and becoming aware. Like, what is it that this individual, how is their brain working that they don't give a shit?
Yeah.
And again, this is all just accumulating information, and everybody's a little bit different. But then I realized as I got older that it was their coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? It was their coping mechanism. They made this story in their mind. This is where the changing of the story, the reframing, that if I behave this way, this is not an issue. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. So I'll essentially show it off myself, and I don't care, blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's the story that they tell themselves. Fast forward. One of those people that I know, it's not well. They're in the streets doing drugs and not well. They're not good.
Yeah.
And so, but they told themselves this story like, oh, I don't care. They walked around like higher than I'm higher than everybody else. But that's just a story they told themselves. But in the background, they're still running the same poverty bullshit. The same, because we grew up the same. But the thing is that he put a front up. This is not reframing. It's a front. Like, you're telling yourself a different story. Yes, you're gonna be a different way, but the work is not there. The consolidation is not there. The consolidation comes when we can figure out the benefits of.
Yeah.
Right? Now, instead of looking at these things as negative, like, oh damn, like I remember plenty of times we didn't have heat. We would have to take cold shower in the winter. Now, and fast forward, I'm like, people buy $3,000 plunges to do what I felt was torture.
It's a fact. Yeah.
But now there's people out here paying, $3, $5, $10,000 go on retreats to go sit in a bucket of ice when I used to be in my shop like freezing to death, right? But again, now reframe. Like, well, was it that bad? Yeah. Was that bad?
Yeah.
Because few times into the future, my dad tells me, he's like, well, in Puerto Rico, they believe like when you go into the river when it's coldest, like right before the sun or at nighttime, that the coldness keeps your skin young. Right? So I thought that he was telling me this because my dad would tell me all these stories. Like, I thought was just to take the sting off of the situation a little bit. And I ate it up, as kids. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm like, my skin is good.
No, this that Puerto Rican.
Yeah. So it's like, I just suck it up, like take the cold showers, right? And then I got to the point where I started to like them. Like, literally, I would, even if we had hot water, I'll take a cold shower and then the hot water just like relax me, and then I still do it to this day. But now I do it because it's beneficial.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
It's a different mindset. It's the same thing. I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But now it's different because I feel like, oh, this is beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, literally this morning, I throw it on, boom, I jump in. I'm like, cold as shit. And then, boom, I warm it up and I'm good. And I feel awake. I feel alive. Like, I'm good to go. I don't have this grogginess. So I found the benefits in that thing.
Yeah.
And it goes on for many things. When I was a kid, I used to feel upset about the fact that I had to do it all. I was the oldest, so I had to clean. I had to help with the homework. I had to do this. I had to get up in the middle of the night, help my little sister, get my little sister a bottle. Like, I felt like, oh my gosh, like abused, right? Which there was a level of abuse of my upbringing. However, reframing and changing the set of lens, I was a dad, like a phenomenal, spectacular father right off the bat.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm only 19 years old.
Yeah.
But I understand everything. I know it's time for feeding. I know it's time for burping. I know, oh, she got a rash. I know how to do this. I know cook, how to do the milk, how to do it all. Like, I knew it all.
Yeah.
So was it a bad thing? Maybe at the time I thought it was a bad thing, but now I'm like, no. This is a good thing. It was preparing me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, like, understanding that reframe, all the things that happen in your background was preparing you. But if you stay in it, it keeps you in a trap. Yeah. You stay there.
Yeah.
You need to learn that everything is an accumulation to prepare you for the next step.
100%.
And if you know that, then now you're looking at your situation through a different set of lens. And when things are coming up, you recognize them, you see them, and then you can help other people like that. Like the dude this in my team, like I had to make him aware of it. And he's like, shit, what the hell? And then he threw an example back at me. He was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's just like the people that win the lottery. I'm like, exactly.
100%.
Exactly. They never change the story of who they think they are and what it is that they're here to do. So therefore, they won this money, they splurge, and within a couple years, they're broke.
Even more broke than
More broker than before.
Facts.
Because they didn't reframe and change the story.
Yeah.
Right? It takes work. It takes willingness.
Yeah.
It takes commitment to self. To be like, okay, I'm going to work through this. There's something here. I could see it. I could see. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. There's something obviously going here that's causing this to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because you are not stupid.
Yeah.
You are not dumb. Like, you know. Like,
100%.
all of us know. We all know. We're aware. The thing is that we decide to just step back because we don't know any better. Not that we know, but we don't know any better. Like, we don't know what steps do I take? What do I do? Right? And today I'm here to share with you that it's about understanding, getting the gratitude from that thing, reframing it, and it will consolidate in your brain. And now you can use it as a tool to create the future that you want versus as the anchor that's holding you back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got anything you want to share on that, man?
I was going to say with the gratitude piece, me and my wife did this gratitude challenge in 2022. 2022 was probably the toughest year in my marriage. Like, to the point where we sat down and it was like, all right, we either going to do this or we ain't going to do this. And it was because I was still hustle mentality. If I get just enough to have enough, then we got enough. Not thinking about the abundance that I have within me, because I do know how to do a lot of shit. I'm very skilled at a lot of things, right? The challenge came up in February because it was a short month. The guy who was running the challenge was like, I'm picking the shortest month because I don't want 30 days of doing something to throw people off. He's like, I'm not even doing the whole month. We only doing 21 days, right? So we did the 21-day challenge. By day 10, it was like everything changed, because for the 21 days, the task was to write down 10 things that you're thankful for. And what I started to realize is I had more than I gave myself. I had more than I was aware of, and I was more than I gave myself credit for being. Like, the space I was taking up, I felt like I was taking up too much space in my small little corner. Like, if I take up more than this, I don't want nobody else to not have nothing. And it's like, that gratitude experience, it was like before you even get to the clothes on your back, you have mad shit to be thankful for. Before you get to having money, having a roof over your head, having friends, having loved ones, before you get to anything external, there's so much to be thankful for, to have gratitude for, like just within being. Breathing, seeing all the functions that your body does that you don't have to do. You never think about your heartbeat. You never even think about your heart beating. It just does what it does. You swallow the way you swallow. You don't have to think about swallowing. You don't have to think about blinking. You don't have to think about the fluid that keeps your eyes moisturized. You don't have to think about your passageways opening and closing and doing. It's so much shit to be grateful for. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you that you feel like you don't have nothing because you don't have a certain amount of money in your bank account? Now, I'm not discrediting that. When you don't have money, not having money is a real feeling.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
It is a real feeling. Not having money to pay bills and take care of things, and it's a real feeling. However, it's also indicative of that story. that story that says you don't have shit and you ain't gonna be shit. This look around. This is like you said in the beginning. Nothing ever really works out for me. People who be like, of course this shit went wrong. It's me. It's like, how do you feel like somehow out of all the people who've experienced all them unfortunate things that you're the one that it fits the most? You the one that it fits the most? I haven't lost a child. I haven't lost a spouse. I haven't lost a sibling. Yeah, I lost a parent. I lost a grandparent. You know what I mean? But there's certain tragedies that happen that haven't happened to me. So I can't say that I have it bad or I have it the worst or I have the worst luck, because there's some people that are dealing with insurmountable odds way more than me. I often say, somebody ask me how I'm doing. I always say, I have no complaints. I may have shit that makes me uncomfortable than a motherfucker, right? But as far as complaining about it, I don't have a complaint, because somebody would probably pay to have my problems. Like, that's what you got? Dog, we could trade.
All day.
You want to trade? Because I
Just
got
that? Okay.
Mission Impossible over here. You know what I mean? So, gratitude, I'll extend it to anybody in terms of like, try it. Try writing down for 1 day, for 2 days. Then he spiced it up in the 21 days. He said, write down your 10 things and then write down the most, write down basically is like a win for the day. It's like, write down the most grateful thing or the best thing that happened to you. Write down the best thing that happened to you today. At the end of the day, not like before the end of your day, every day, write down your 10 things. You say you could write your 5 things in the morning, 5 things at night. You could write 2, as long as you get the 10. But before you go to bed, write down the best thing that happened to you that day. And that's when it really started to like, it was more than just an exercise. It was like an embodiment of this thing, starting to look for shit that I was like, I'm putting that in the journal tonight. You know what I mean? No, this right here was a win. I got to work 10 minutes early. Win. Got to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was able to do all of the breakfast and the bop, and I did it in a timely fashion. Like, that's a win. I was able to kiss my wife and dance in the kitchen. That's a win. Like,
yes.
It started to get to a place where the gratitude outweighed what I felt like I didn't have, because I started to really see like, dog, you have way more than you think you do. Because once you stop thinking of what you don't have and you start accepting what you do have, it's a world of difference.
100%. 100%. And that's the switch of the lens.
Yeah.
Right. And so I brought up gratitude, and I'm happy that you share that experience, because that's the way to expose the things that no longer serve you. You can change the story, right? Because now you're going to find the gratitude for it.
Yeah.
Right. So therefore, as you're doing the practice of gratitude and you're actually looking, those filters are up. Your reticular activator system is up, right? Like now you're actually looking for that things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
While that is happening, life is still gonna life. 100%. Just because you're doing your gratitude doesn't mean that life stops lifing. 100%. No, that's not the case. However, your focus is on finding things of gratitude.
Yeah.
So therefore, when the other things come up, they are, so what I'm looking for here, abnormal. Instead of being your norm.
Yeah. This shit always happened to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So you just switched it.
Yeah.
Right? So now when these things come up, now you can become aware of them. If you're constantly the same story over and 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 over, it's hard for you to become aware of it.
Yeah.
Unless you are intentionally like work, and it's harder that way, being honest. It's harder that way where you're like, okay, because I went through that path. Let me go into my thoughts. Let me figure out why did I feel this, whatever. And that works. But what I found more effective is focus on the gratitude, and the impurities will come up.
Yeah.
And when they come up, you've already programmed yourself to see the gratitude in things. So guess what? On that thing that's a bad thing, guess how you're going to interpret it? With gratitude.
Yeah.
Game changer.
It is.
Game changer.
It is.
Because at that point now, everything that's happening is for you, for your improvement.
Yeah.
It brings gratitude. It's great. You just feel grateful for a thing that might look like a shit sandwich from the outside. You know what I'm saying? But for you, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for this because it exposed this.
Yeah.
It has me now thinking differently.
Yeah.
And because now I'm thinking differently, I'm going to be able to do this, or I done this, or I did that. It's completely way of thinking and being.
It is.
Right? So definitely gratitude will shift all of that. For those of you that don't want to do the gratitude journal, just become aware. And as the things come up, I invite you to look at it from the lens of like, where can I find gratitude in this? Try it out. And I can tell you with confidence that it will change your life.
Yeah.
It will change your life.
Fact.
Like, it's going to be so, you're going to get, for me, when I started doing this, I was really emotional. Really emotional. Everything that I found gratitude for, I would get so emotional. And then when I realized in the grand scheme of the life that is Sam Cologne, I'm a lucky motherfucker. I am so lucky.
Yeah.
I am so blessed. Even the backstories, and I got a lot of backstories, but even with all that, I'm blessed. And it's just, and because of that, it's not in spite of that, and because of that, it makes me more blessed. Because I can see things from different perspectives.
Facts.
It's something that looks like a shit sandwich for somebody. I'm like, that's opportunity. That's gold right there. But if you're looking at it like, oh, that's a shit sandwich, then it's gonna be a shit sandwich. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking at it, no, there's opportunity for growth here. Like, there's something here for me. What is this? And when you see it, you actually embody the gratitude for it, instant upgrade. Yeah. That information now gets consolidated into the brain, and it starts to use it with the lens of gratitude versus the lens of woe is me.
Yeah.
And that's the game. That's the big game changer right there. Reframing these things that you tell yourself.
Facts.
You got something?
I have my 2022, when me and my wife were at the throes of, divorce. She was very polite about it. In that she said, well, babe, the way that we've been going, I'm starting to feel like I'm resenting you. And I was just like, I didn't react. How the fuck you going after? It was one of the first times that I heard something that not only did I not agree with in terms of like how we got there, but it was negative toward me. And I heard it, and that was that, right? Went down to Virginia, me and my brother have always had this, he's 2 years younger than me. So we've always been at odds. Not where I hate him, he hate me, but if we together too long, is probably going to turn into an argument, right?
Yeah.
So we going down to Virginia, and I got to meet my brother, the adult version of my brother on that trip. And my brother got to meet the adult version of me on that trip. We both going down with this feeling from our significant others of like, we got to step our shit up or else we going to lose out on something, right? So I get back from Virginia. It's 2 days. We rode down, did my mom roof, redid the roof and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Came right back. I remember sitting on the couch talking to my wife, and I had got filled up with so much gratitude from a space of like, it shocked the shit out of me. Because even if in that moment we divorced, the fact that I had this love from somebody, when I say it was like the Holy Ghost, I felt so much energy from the gratitude that I felt for this love that I could possibly be losing. It was just, I couldn't say nothing but thank you.
Yeah, but it wasn't for the love that you were possibly losing, but it was for the love that you already had.
100%.
You already experienced that love.
100%.
And the fact that you now the possibility of this love leaving, now it's like, wait a minute, I don't want to lose this.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's like now the fact that it's a possibility of losing it. Now you become aware of what you had.
100%.
And it's like, wait a minute, like you said, like wow, like even if you was to lose, even if the divorce was to happen that day, you're still grateful for the fact that you had it.
Yeah.
You had that experience.
100%.
You had that love. 100%. You had that relationship. You know,
100%.
So it changes everything. And guess what? Little secret: the fact that you had that experience releases the pressure.
Yeah.
Now there is no, oh my gosh, I could lose this. Or what's the word I'm looking for here? If that, then this. No, there's none of that. There's no stipulations.
Yeah.
Because I'm already grateful for what it is that we've already had.
100%.
So now moving forward from there is fresh water, fresh living water. Like, it's like, I know what I got. Let's see how much more this could be. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Completely different.
Facts.
Yeah.
I say it it was definitely one of the most pivotal moments in our marriage. That's when we started doing date day weekly. Now time don't pass, but we don't kick it. Every week like clockwork, to the point where people call, they know certain days don't even hit my phone because you know who I'm with, right? So it was like that saying, it's better to have loved than lost than never have loved at all.
Yes.
I swear it was like bing. I had this love that a lot of people can't say they had. A lot of people can't say that they spent any amount of time with somebody that got them in person. And I was sitting here on the couch, my wife looking at me like, hey, what the fuck is happening here? Like, she ain't say it, but the look on her face.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I was in that state, when I say, and I'm sure you've experienced this, I felt everything around me. Everything around me. We're on the 12th floor. I felt under the building. Like, I felt energy from under the building, from the walls, from everywhere. And it was so intense that I couldn't do nothing but grab my wife. Like, babe, please come and get some of this energy, because I don't know what this is, but thank you. Like, just thank you. Even if, thank you. And it was like, that was like the thing that changed everything. Like you said, it's not to say because I had this level of gratitude that somehow life wasn't life, and we were in the middle of life and the shit out of it. Like, we was in the dead center of the eye of the storm of life. But through that moment, 2 months later, I got a new job. At the same time, all of this stuff starts bearing fruit. We will argue a lot about the time that I spend in the studio. You always in the studio. You're not making no money. What we gonna do? Now it's like, I get it. You gonna be at the studio? What time you coming home? I'll probably be home like after 2, maybe 3 o'clock. Okay. That was an argument at one point. So it was like, through this window of gratitude, there were so many layers that were able to be pulled back from the shit. from the story. From the thing that is you and you and you.
Yes.
No, it's you and you and you. It's like,
No, it's not me, it's you. No, it's not me, it's you. Yeah.
It's like, nah, dog, it's us versus it. And if it can't be moved by us, then maybe it is not the problem. Maybe it is something else. But it's not me and my shit versus you and your shit. It's how can we consolidate the shit so it's not shit no more. It's just, this is life. This is something that's in front of us that we have to deal with. And are we going to deal with it together or we're not?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And now we just tooth and nail fighting all this shit together.
Yeah, which is beautiful, 100%. But extends from what? Gratitude.
100%.
Gratitude. And when you have the gratitude, now you have the reframe. That reframe right there is powerful.
Yeah.
Like you leave fighting, having a realization, like, wow, like, I got what I want.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to lose this?
Yeah.
Like, now you have a certain level of gratitude. Well, if it's time for me to lose it, at least I had it.
100%.
And there's so many people in this world that never would experience this. So I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Reframe.
Yep.
Release. When you release, more can come in.
Yeah.
Like I always tell you, like, if you're like this, how can you receive?
Yeah.
But when you release,
Yeah.
you can receive.
Wide open.
Wide open.
Facts.
You know, and so like that was what happened. You had to reframe.
Yeah.
The reframe happened. Guess what? As within, so without.
Yeah.
Now your reality is shifting.
Facts.
And it happens this quick. People think that if you can understand that our life is moment by moment. Now. It's only now. All the stuff from before, what we did, we project, that's a projection into the future, and everything that we remember from before is the past. Those things don't really exist. Those are recordings, right? The only thing that exists is here, now.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, we should be able to shift our life now,
Yeah.
instantly. But it has to happen.
Yeah.
You have to believe it. You have to be that.
Yeah.
And the only way that's going to happen when the mind, you have to learn how the mind works. Reconcile. Let it understand, okay, this happened because of this piece works with this piece, and now because these two pieces come together, boom, now this can happen. And when you can start to work with your brain like that, then you can start to accept it more. Because you got to remember, most of the shit that we do is conditioning. And where's the conditioning from? In here. Or the constant recording, the TV shows, the teachers, the family members, all the shit that came in, it's in here. So unless we can consolidate what the hell is going on in here, we're going to have a very fucking hard time. We're going to be going ups and downs, emotions, mess all over the place. But the easiest way is gratitude. Find gratitude in all things, because when you do, it'll change you. And when you start to see the world through the set of lens, like this is for me and not against me, now you have this sense of like every day is better and better. Yeah. I know you said earlier on the show you had mentioned, when certain people ask you like, "Hey, how you doing?" You'd be like, "No complaints." Mm-hmm. I like two responses. Number one is excellent. People, if it's a quick, excellent. Number two is I'm doing excellent, getting better every day, because this is what I truly believe. Like there's a refining of me every day because of I know that everything that is happening, and sometimes this shit sucks. Don't feel like it's for my benefit at the moment, but I know that it's for my benefit. So now I can work through it. And that's because of the lens of gratitude. Understanding that there's something here for me so that I can consolidate, reconcile, and put into the file so now I can see the world differently.
Yeah.
Will change everything for you. So it doesn't have to be 21 days. It happens when you believe it.
Yeah.
When you know it. If you know everything is moment by moment,
yeah,
and then you take the moment to be like, I choose to change this now.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. It's done. Fuck the past. Fuck the future. And sorry that I'm cursing a lot on this one because this one is like, this is real shit. Like if you can fucking grasp this, it will change everything. You'll change your story. You'll change your life. If you can grasp this every moment by moment. And in this moment, you can make the choice to change. Make the change and then be different. And once you make that change and you internalize it, being different is simple. It's not a task. You automatically are going to be different. And when the old patterns and behaviors come up, you're going to see them because they're no longer you. They no longer are you, so you are going to see them. But when you embody these things, you don't recognize them. You consider them you. You can't recognize them. But when you actually take that step back, have that reframe, and you be different, now you're going to recognize the things that are not you. And now you can work through them. You want to add anything, B, before we jump off here?
I'll just say this. It's been a pleasure spending the amount of time that I've spent with you, just because there's a lot of refinement that has happened in the way that I look at things, right? I feel like I've always had the baseline of being positive and being optimistic, and, you know, my outlook being more, it's going to work out more than it's not going to work out. But the fact that you've traversed through some hard things and you still have space for gratitude, you still have space to not be a guru, to not be, I know what the fuck I know. It's like, no, I know what I know, but I also know that I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's always a joy and a pleasure, man. Like spending time with you, sharing space with you, because I feel like I'm experiencing something, and it's so crazy. Like yesterday, you text me out the blue, and I'm working on clips for the episode, and I'm like, yo, it's crazy. The clip that I'm working on is like some enriching shit in the moment, right? And I'm just grateful for the space that I'm able to share with you. From a student perspective, I appreciate you. That's
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Gratitude. Now, I'm grateful too. And I don't want you to take this in a belittling way, but to see your growth. Oh my gosh. Like, it makes me emotional. Like, literally.
Yeah.
It's a blessing for me to see that. Like, to see transformation in my brother. Like, it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Because I remember when we first, and again, it's not that you were a bad guy or anything. It's not that. That. We're talking about different levels of understanding self, right? And when you understand self, your reality is going to reflect differently. And I recall, and us having those conversations, hours talking, and then seeing the shift. It's been amazing, like so fulfilling. And not just to mention, like, it's only the beginning. Like, it's just taking off. Like,
facts.
You know what I'm talking about,
facts.
Right? The pieces, the components, the changes that now is to take to the next levels of expansion. They're there, and so I see you.
Thank you,
and I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you,
and I love you very much.
Love you too. Thank you.
So for all of you guys watching, and for you guys, listen, you individually, you. Get everybody know you. I want to say this to you. I know that whatever it is that you have in your heart that you're here to create, you can do it. And I want to say this, just change your story and you will change your life. Right? So until next time, I'm sending you so much love, much peace, so many blessings. And remember that I am you, you are me,